the University of Hyderabad continues to simmer with student unrest. Several students and faculty were arrested on Tuesday after violence on campus over the return of Vice Chancellor P. Appa Rao from long leave. But with the arrests taking place just before a long weekend, bail hearings were scheduled only for Monday. There are now reports of violence against these students and faculty in police custody. Their parents have accused the university of not informing them of the arrests. The Vice Chancellor has issued a letter refuting rumours that his office was responsible for cutting off electricity and water, or that he met with political leaders on or off campus. As both sides stand their ground, how is the university continuing to function? I spoke a short while ago to the spokesperson of the university, Professor Vipin Srivastava.
I want to actually ask you first of all, the parents of the students who've been arrested have made a charge that the university nor the police have informed them of the students' arrests. They want to know why they were not informed by the university.
No, but see, the thing is that the university does not come into the picture. It was, violence, and the university, the police took charge, and they arrested people, and we don't even know exactly who the students are. We don't have the proper list.
So, are you saying the police has not given you the names of the students they have arrested?
Not as far as I know, until the lunchtime, we had not received the list, but the Dean Student Welfare was trying to obtain the list from the police to ascertain how many of them are actually our students, because we suspect that there are some people from outside.
So I think, sorry if I am interrupting, but I think the situation now is that this is not just about a law and order situation where, there's some sort of protest on campus and you're calling the 100 control rooms just to bring things back under control. This has become a hugely political situation against...
How is it political? I don't know.
Mr. Srivastava, what do you say to criticism that his return as VC is inappropriate in view of charges against him and a pending judicial inquiry, and also that he's returned to influence an ongoing inquiry? That's a charge that's being made against the Vice Chancellor.
No, that is baseless, actually. That is not correct. See, the commission made 2 visits, and in those 2 visits, they collected all the data. Moreover, mind you, the commission did not ask that the Vice Chancellor should stay away. Right? It was on his own discretion, it was his own decision to stay away. However, you should understand that this is the end of the financial year, and there are constraints on how the in-charge Vice Chancellor can operate. He cannot take decisions which have long-term implications, big financial decisions and so on. So the absence of the regular Vice Chancellor was being felt on daily basis, right? So there was actually, most of us were trying to persuade him to come back and resume, because, in the university, you can imagine on daily basis there are big decisions to be taken. So there was enormous pressure on him from inside, from the faculty members, that he should come back.
So, the charge by some of the alumni that they're saying that the administration has imposed emergency-like situations on campus, which is resembling a surveillance state.
Totally untrue.
Totally untrue.
Emergency-like situation. You can see the students are roaming about and going to the library, going to their schools, even while we are having holidays. I mean, like yesterday and today. Okay? Everything is functioning normally.
And also untrue that the Vice Chancellor, Mr. Appa Rao, met with ABVP leader Sushil Kumar and an MP before returning to college.
There is no truth in that.
Right.
Yeah, this is, again, I'm telling you, this is picked up from, somebody who has just said arbitrarily to the press. I also read it in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would he care to meet Sushil Kumar or anybody?
So, Mr. Srivastava, I think now the question is really, I mean, we saw that the Vice Chancellor had issued a letter last night essentially refuting certain rumors that he says were going around about how the campus, the electricity and water had been cut off by the university, and internet facilities were cut off, the mess was not functioning, things like that. He has issued a statement challenging each rumor.
You've read that, right?
Yeah.
If you want, I can explain to you once again.
We read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is that, see, in all this, when this violence was going on, and the non-teaching staff intervened and they tried to stop them, then some of their people were beaten up very badly. Now, this angered them. And they said that, look, this is not acceptable. You know, you can't, resort to violence of this order. That was the violence of the highest order that you can expect. Okay? So then they said that we are going on strike, and the mess workers, etc., they all came out and they said we are not doing our duties. We will not do anything in the hostel. The electricity staff, the engineering staff stopped working. The people who man the campus network facility, they stopped functioning, and as a result, for just about 24 hours, these services were hampered. However, we realized that 95% of the students are worried about their exams, about the classes in the last 2 in the final 2 weeks of the semester. So we realized that, you see, they were being put to inconvenience. So we requested them to please call off their strike, and that's what they did.
So, Mr. Srivastava, now what is how do you end the situation? You have another student now who's sort of becoming a rallying point for many of the protesters. It's Uday Bhanu, who is in bad condition and has been hospitalized. You have students who have been arrested. They're going to be in jail all weekend because there's no bail court proceedings until Monday because it's a long holiday weekend. Parents who are charging that the university has not fulfilled its obligations as guardians of these students to them. There are so many layers of this controversy apart from the larger question of, what Kanhaiya Kumar has come in and said, that our campuses are becoming war zones today. It's happening across campuses. There is some reason why this is going on.
No, actually, all this is, most of it is concocted. As far as the parents are concerned, we have just released an appeal to the parents by the Vice Chancellor. It will be put on the university's Facebook and also on the university's website, and we will also release it to the press, where we have appealed the parents to remain in touch with their wards and make sure that they go to the classes, etc. So we are issuing an appeal to the parents, and there is no political angle to it or any other angle.
Well, that was Professor Vipin Srivastava, who I spoke to a short while ago. We are being joined now. Krishna Sagar Rao of the BJP stays on with us. Madhu Yakshi Gaud, spokesperson of the Congress Party, joins him in our Hyderabad studios. We're also being joined from the Hyderabad University by the Student Union President, Zuhail KP, who's joining us from there. And in our studios here in Delhi, we have Arvind Kumar, Assistant Professor of Minority Studies at the Jamia Millia University as well. Arvind Kumar, I'm going to actually open with you because I saw you nodding your head in agreement in the studio when Professor Srivastava was talking. What was that about?
Yeah, I was nodding on the point that ultimately it's the student who suffers. University is I would not use the word sacred, but it's a very, university is a site of intellectual agreement, disagreement, even in the classroom, outside the classroom. I was nodding at the point that ultimately it is the students who are suffering. What we saw in JNU also, what we saw in Hyderabad also, it's months that crisis is going on. The only point I am trying to bring you to, Maya, that if there was a crisis, this is why Appa Rao went on leave. It was a decision obviously that there was some serious crisis in Hyderabad Central University, and therefore Vice Chancellor, which is a very crucial position, leadership position, where he had some problem which he couldn't address.
So why did
Therefore,
he come back before
exactly
the problem was
before
addressed?
the crisis
That's
is
the
resolved.
question, right? And that's the
Yes.
question I asked Professor Srivastava as well, who made the point that the faculty asked him, because it's the end of the financial year and many decisions were pending the Vice Chancellor's signatures and approval. Zohail, is that something you agree with about the reasons for Vice Chancellor Apparau's return? But also I want to bring you in on this point that at the end of the day, there is a small percentage of the students who are protesting, who are currently in prison. We've heard their parents speak as well. What's happening, if you can tell us, to the larger portion of the student body who essentially are not participating in the protests and on either side of the ideological divide, so to speak? What's really going on? Give us an objective picture.
Yeah, I would like to ask Professor Vipin Srivastava that just before the Apparau's as posted as the Vice Chancellor, we had a R.P. Sharma and E. Haribabu as the interim Vice Chancellor for more than 1 year or like that. And what was the financial year concept at that point of the time? That is the first question which I would like to post into the Vipin Srivastava's, in front of the Vipin Srivastava. And along with that, he were presenting the data in a very different way. The CNF people, he was saying that the internet were not cut. We saw that University of Hyderabad site was active and nothing else. And how it can be happened? And is there any rule or any problem for the University of Hyderabad site to work? And along with that, if they were asked for the non-teaching staff asked for an apology from us, but we said that we never ever manhandled anybody. But when we hear the words from Vipin Srivastava, he were mentioning the fact that the non-teaching staff were badly beaten up and that is up to the maximum limit and all. I'm not understanding that fact. Some of the students were there at the present, and we heard that from the non-teaching staff and several people. The VVC was trying to make confrontation in between the students and other students, and also in between the students and the non-teaching staff. That was his attitude towards our struggle.
Okay, all right. Vipin Srivastava is not with us on the phone line right now, but he has made the case that even the students who were arrested, there was a law and order situation outside which led to somebody calling the police control room at 100, and essentially it was in order to stem the law and order situation on the issue of whether these students were mistreated, beaten up in custody. He says that's a question for the police to answer. So we are unfortunately, we will have to ask that question to the police. But I want to ask Krishna Sagar Rao on this a couple of questions. One is that there is this bail hearing which was postponed till Monday. Seems a little unfair. I mean, these students were arrested before a long weekend. There was still Wednesday for them to get this bail on. Why make them go through 5 days in jail? What is the message that is being sent out?
See, Maya, I am quite saddened that 27 students of HCU today are in jail and are going to remain in jail till Monday or Tuesday. It's a sad thing. It shouldn't have happened, and it was avoidable. Now, we also have to understand these are not school children. These are all adults, and most of them are like close to 30 years of age. And I think the rage should not be contagious, and in the society we live in, and especially in an academic environment like in a university, adults should understand they're all very learned people. They should understand their actions will have consequences. And certainly nobody can mess with and meddle with the law. Even if Bharatiya Janata Party locally wants to do something to these young students, we cannot. Even the Congress friend right here, right now with me, the former MP, he cannot extricate them from the jail because that's the legal procedure. So it is quite sad that a handful of handlers, political handlers, made them victims today. And I hope while they are in the jail, they will also reflect upon what they are doing. Why did they come to the university? The politics of students should be limited to their rights in the university campus. It should be limited to their facilities, their amenities. It should not be, an extension of mainstream politics and ideology of other parties. It should never be. That is not the college politics anywhere else in the world. But unfortunately, the students, I'm telling you once again, Bharatiya Janata Party is with the silent majority of this university, which houses more than 4,000 to 5,000 students who are silently getting punished because of a handful of people
All right,
whose
I'm going to
main,
get Sohail to respond
whose
very
main
quickly to
agenda
that as well.
is to be
Yeah, and then-
encroachers on the university campus,
Okay, all right,
feed
Mr.
on
Sagar
governmental aid, and
Mr.
attack the
Sagar Rao,
same
just a moment.
governments.
We just have 5 minutes left. Madhu Yakshigowd, come in very quickly. I want Sohail to respond as well. Come in, Madhu Yakshigowd.
No, this is a. I'm astonished to see my friend justifying the action taken by the Vice Chancellor. It's a pre-planned. There was a task sheet in front of the Vice Chancellor. There are 9 universities in last 22 months in Telangana functioning by the acting Vice Chancellors. Mr. Srivastava is absolutely speaking crap. He has no human feelings. It's what kind of a justification is giving by not providing an electricity, water and food to the 5,000 students? If those provocation is claiming that the non-teaching staff has been attacked, if so, why they were not admitted in hospital? If you look at the statement of Uday Banu, the police were beating him up. He is pleading that he was to be operated for piles.
Yeah.
And in spite of that, they're beating, they put a jacket on his face and asking him, why were you present on the in the postmortem room when Rohit was committed suicide? Why were you pleading? Have last
Okay.
rites as per his mother's wishes.
You
This
know-
was police were asking and beating him. It's a pre-planned police brutality. The state government is collusion
Okay.
with the
All
central
right,
university.
all right. Sohail,
And
very
it
quickly
is,
respond
shocking
to
to
both
see
Krishna
justification
Sagar
from
Rao
the,
and to
why
Madhu
this VC
Yakshigowd.
was back here.
Okay, all right. Sohail, very quickly respond. I want to bring Professor Arvind Kumar back into it as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, the first fellow, the BJP leaders, BJP leaders,
Mind
words
your-
are
mind your
really
language.
condemnable.
Mind your language.
In the sense like, in the sense
Mind
like,
your language
in the
if
sense
you want to
like
be on a panel like this.
How the
Well,
How
I
the
think everyone
ABVP
needs to use
can
parliamentary
work very
language.
freely.
Madhu Yakshigowd you didn't use particularly parliamentary language about Vipin Srivastav's comments as well, so we'll leave that aside. Sohail, do please keep it polite. Go ahead, finish your point.
Yeah. In the sense like, the ABVP is also working inside the campus, and they are the people who were trying to provoke to their maximum limit the students who were protesting democratically outside the campus. And they are the people who reached inside the VC's lodge before even reaching the students, like the protesting
Okay.
students.
All right.
And
Okay, Arvind Kumar, I want to ask you, there's many issues that have become enmeshed in this. It started with Rohit Vemula's suicide, and the reasons for those protests at the time were about, the death sentence and what was national and what was anti-national. There are layers to this debate. The caste issue is one layer. The issue of patriotism has become a second layer, and that's what we're seeing in discourse around the country. But at the end of the day, for a campus, these issues should have the space to be debated and discussed without it coming to a situation where, it's either this or that and everyone's beating each other up and going into prison and, it's really a free-for-all.
Precisely, Maya. This is the tragedy, this is the difficult times we are in. I was just saying, like, those students who are booked, the, IPC, sections which are imposed on them. As you correctly said, like, it all started from Rohit Vemula, but there is, like, background to Rohit Vemula. There was Occupy UGC movement already going on. This government, after it has come to power, has cut down money on social sector in the budgets. All the students who are enrolled for MPhil and PhD in any central university get 5,000 and 8,000 respectively. That is stopped.
The stipends
So they are
have been
just
stopped.
simmering, this whole
Discontent. Okay.
agitation in students across central universities. As far as how do you handle such situation, because I myself was a student in JNU, and I remember, there was a vice chancellor who was not vice chancellor when I was a student, but there was a crisis in our time. And there was a gherao of registrar. Just give me 1 minute to to
We
wrap
have
this
just
up.
30 seconds,
Yes,
so yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So this vice chancellor called YK Alag, who later became union minister, he wrote categorically that a group of students actually barged into my room, broke the window pane, and then I did not call the police. You know why? Because if I had called police, then I would have been a superintendent of police and not a vice chancellor. So
Okay.
vice chancellor
So I
is,
think-
is a
So-
position who actually should have gone in talking terms with the
So I
student.
think that the call of the hour really is about dialogue between students and the vice chancellor of the university, whether you like him or not. Now, where this impasse is going to end is another question. But as Arvind Kumar is pointing out, there's a lot of issues converging over here. The issue of funding to the social sector, the stipends of these students, the caste issue that's come into play, and of course the ideological politics that we're seeing play out at this point in time. I think everyone needs to step back a little bit from extreme positions and just allow academic debate to be just that, academic debate. We'll have to leave it at that, unfortunately, on the buck stops here tonight. But thank you all very much for being for watching the show. We'll be back on Saturday night with another edition.